The drama surrounding Caitlin Clark and Elon Musk has set the sports world ablaze, igniting debates not just about basketball but about the very future of women's athletics. For years, WNBA players have voiced their frustration over the stark pay gap between their league and the NBA. Even the most celebrated names, like Aya Wilson, the reigning face of the league, barely clear $225,000 a season, a fraction of what male stars command. Many players, unable to make ends meet with their WNBA salaries alone, spend their off-seasons overseas, grinding through grueling schedules in Europe, China, and beyond, chasing the kind of financial security they can't find at home. It's a cycle that has become the norm, one that forces top-tier athletes to risk injury and burnout just to survive. But now, an unlikely disruptor has stepped into the spotlight, and his arrival could change everything. Elon Musk, the world's richest man and a figure synonymous with tech innovation and controversial headlines, has made a jaw-dropping move, offering Caitlin Clark a $10 million endorsement deal. This is not just any endorsement. It's a signal flare fired into the heart of the WNBA's long-simmering labor tensions. Musk's public support for Clark, the Indiana Fever's record-breaking phenom, is more than just a business transaction. It's a declaration that women's basketball, often dismissed or underfunded, holds untapped potential that could redefine the economics of the sport. In one stroke, Musk has not only positioned Clark as the biggest star in women's sports but also cracked open the door to an entirely new era, one where players could command the respect, exposure, and compensation that's been denied to them for decades. The fan response has been electric. Social media erupted with praise for Musk's move, lauding his willingness to invest in the future of women's sports. Analysts called it a turning point, while fans celebrated the possibility that Clark's rise could force a shift in how the industry values female athletes. But the most intriguing part of this deal is that it isn't just about a payday, it's about leverage. With the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement set to expire on October 31, 2025, and the players' union poised to opt out on November 1, Musk's endorsement arrives at a moment of maximum instability. If the players walk, the league could grind to a halt. And with so many already venturing abroad to find better pay, the idea of an entirely new, rival league suddenly feels less like fantasy and more like an imminent reality. That's where the whispers of the XX League come in, a hypothetical competitor to the WNBA that insiders are already speculating could be bankrolled by billionaires like Musk, or even deep-pocketed foreign investors such as Saudi Arabia, who have already shown a willingness to disrupt sports markets. Imagine a league where athletes are not just players but partial owners, where they have a real say in governance, scheduling, and salaries. The XX League could operate alongside the WNBA during the summer or run year-round, giving players the option to stay in the United States instead of chasing contracts overseas. For someone like Clark, it could mean never having to leave Indiana to earn millions while playing in front of her home fans. For others, it could mean finally seeing the financial recognition that matches their talent and commitment. The numbers are stark. While $225,000 might sound substantial to the average person, it's a pittance compared to the multimillion-dollar contracts in the NBA. This inequity fuels the resentment simmering within the WNBA ranks, a frustration that Clark's massive endorsement only intensifies. Players see the writing on the wall. Corporate America and tech titans are more than willing to invest big money in women's sports, but the league structure isn't built to capture that value for the athletes themselves. Musk's deal, then, isn't just about Clark. It's a challenge to the WNBA's leadership. It dares them to think bigger, to see women's basketball not as a charity or political statement, but as an entertainment product capable of generating massive revenue. Musk's own motives may be as strategic as they are supportive. His platform, X, formerly Twitter, is in the midst of a transformation into a multimedia giant aiming to rival YouTube. Women's basketball, particularly with a charismatic, record-shattering star like Clark at the center, could provide the kind of live sports content that draws subscribers and advertisers in droves. Broadcasting an XX League exclusively on X would be a masterstroke, marrying sports, streaming, and social media in a way that maximizes both exposure and revenue. And Clark, who already commands an audience wherever she plays, could become the league's Taylor Swift, a singular cultural force who turns every appearance into an event. Behind the scenes, the idea is gaining traction. Advocates envision the XX League as not just a better-paying alternative, but as a revolutionary shift in how women's sports are managed. Higher salaries would be paired with equity stakes, ensuring that players have a vested interest in the league's long-term success. This would stand in stark contrast to the WNBA, which has often been criticized for prioritizing political messaging over market expansion. Critics argue that the league has failed to capitalize on generational talents like Clark, missing opportunities to grow the fanbase and create sustainable revenue streams. Musk and his potential partners see this as a glaring vulnerability and an opening. What makes this even more compelling is the timing. The 2025 CBA deadline is not just a date on the calendar. It's a ticking clock for the WNBA. Players who are already dissatisfied with their pay and conditions may see Musk's involvement as a bargaining chip or as a lifeboat. Even those who have no intention of leaving might sit down with Musk simply to create leverage in negotiations, forcing the league to confront its shortcomings. And if talks break down, the infrastructure for a rival league could materialize almost overnight, especially with foreign investors or media platforms ready to bankroll it. The hypothetical roster for such a league reads like an all-star lineup. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Aaliyah Boston, and international stars like Camila Cardoso could draw crowds instantly. Coaches like Gino Orima could lend credibility and gravitas. And if the promise of ownership stakes and multimillion-dollar contracts becomes real, loyalty to the WNBA could evaporate fast. The players wouldn't just be employees, they'd be partners in a business designed to serve them first. The stakes extend far beyond paychecks. At its core, this movement is about respect and autonomy. For too long, women's basketball has been defined by limitations: smaller salaries, smaller arenas, smaller TV contracts. The XX League represents the opposite: ambition without compromise, a vision that says women's sports can be as commercially viable and culturally influential as men's. And in this vision, Caitlin Clark isn't just a star player, she's the spark that lights the fire. Of course, the WNBA isn't going to roll over. The league has invested heavily in building its brand and cultivating loyal fans. But it's impossible to ignore the pressure Musk's involvement brings. By aligning himself with Clark and hinting at an entirely new model for women's basketball, he has forced a conversation the WNBA can't avoid. Will they adapt and give players more financial and operational control, or will they dig in and risk losing their brightest stars to a competitor? For now, all eyes are on Clark. She has remained gracious and professional, expressing gratitude for Musk's offer and focusing on her current career. But she must know, as everyone in the sports world does, that she's holding the kind of influence few athletes ever achieve. Her next move could reshape the sport for generations. And as the countdown to the CBA deadline ticks away, the possibility of a seismic shift in women's basketball feels less like a wild dream and more like an approaching reality. The court is set, the pieces are moving, and the drama is only just beginning. Whether this ends in a reimagined WNBA, a bold new rival league, or a total upheaval of women's sports, one thing is certain: the game will never be the same. Do you think Caitlin Clark should take Elon Musk's offer and help build a new league, or should she stay in the WNBA and fight for change from within? And if a rival league forms, would you watch? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more updates, and join the conversation as we follow this unfolding story.